support our coverage with a free account on Privacy, the service that keeps you protected when shopping online. Get $5 to try it now by using promo code QZZ2J.
Lazy Moose NFTs. Now, I am looking forward to this conversation. Musa?
Musa, yeah.
Musa, all right. Great to have you on the show.
Thank you.
And I think a lot of people are like scratching their heads about NFTs.
Yes.
So before we get into Lazy Moose, can you give just like a 30-second, 1-minute snapshot of what an NFT actually is?
Okay, so I was just listening to Eric Calderon speak.
Okay.
Who's really big in the NFT space, and he kind of said the word NFT is it's confusing people a lot. So don't think about it necessarily as the functional definition of an NFT. Think about what an NFT represents. It's a digital file that represents some kind of digital asset or a conversation that has somebody recently keepsake. So if you simplify it and really think about it in that way, it becomes a lot easier to understand. In this is just a file with a digital representation that you own that particular file. So it can be a JPEG, PNG, MP3, MP4, and then what's in that file is what makes it unique.
Okay. So I think what people get kind of sideways about a little bit. So I could, this is Chris over here, by the way.
Hey, Chris. How you
Chris
doing?
is waving at you. So I could draw a stick figure of Chris and actually sell that as an NFT.
Right. So, and I think this is where a Lazy Moose comes in.
Okay.
Right? So I think the big issue with the NFTs fundamentally is that people want to get into the space, but the space, because it's so early, it's very difficult to get into with anything.
Yes.
So although a lot of people, if you're into NFTs right now, you're listening to this, you're interested, you're still early. You're still very early in the process. And in turn, by you being early, you have to deal with a lot of the growing pains. So as an artist trying to get into the NFT space, it's easier now than it would be potentially 5 to 10 years from now, but it'll still be a matter of people have to notice you. People have to understand, what your NFTs are, and you have to make sure you're marketing your NFTs to either people in your immediate community or your followers or individuals who are already in the NFT space. And I think that's where it gets tricky, and that's where we're kind of coming in to create that process a lot easier for artists, musicians, athletes, things like that.
So I have a product, and I do, by the way. You and I should probably talk after this.
Okay.
But you would actually provide a direction for me as to how to capitalize on the NFT movement.
Right. So a bit of background on myself. I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio, born and raised. I went to Breakthrough Public Schools of Cleveland, network of public schools in Cleveland, and then I went out to Cate School, boarding school in Southern California. And then I went to Case Western, where I just graduated a degree in material science and engineering. All of that was a function of my hard work and people helping me along the way to kind of guide me along that roadmap.
Right.
So I kind of think about it as when you're coming into the NFT space, who welcomes you into the door is huge. And it's like that for a lot of things, whether it be the business world, if you're a chef, podcast, things like that. You really need to have someone to really teach you the aspects that make it either easy or difficult. And I think that's the best part about what we're trying to do is really educate people, educate and welcome people to the space, welcome them to the community. It's very confusing, When I had a lot of friends who would surf, and they'd be like, "You just got to do it. You got to get in the water, paddle. You're gonna fall. You're not gonna but you have to really understand." And having somebody there to give you that insight, information is tremendous. So that's what we're trying to do, and find the subtle ways. Finding what types of NFTs. What aspects do you have? This word utility gets thrown around a lot. What does that mean? Finding utilities that suit your community, things like that.
Interesting. So, how does a person go about, if they were going to, let's say they're an artist and they want to get started with you and going forward with building out an NFT, how does that process work?
So right now we're still, I was telling somebody earlier, we're planting seeds in a bunch of different places. So right now our first tree that we would like to grow is getting our NFTs released.
Okay.
So what we're looking to do is find either up-and-coming or established artists. Obviously, the established artists do a tremendous amount to help the up-and-coming artists to come in and interact with us on social media interact with our Discord, to really grow our community. That's the first thing we're trying to do, is grow our community, because the community will ultimately dictate, our utilities, what our NFTs, what we're bringing to the NFT community. So, finding ways to interact with us either on social media. My social media accounts are going to be shared, so that people can interact with us to learn about the space and find what particular area that they're doing. If you're in music, you should be releasing NFTs that represent your album, whatever album you're releasing or whatever unreleased songs you're releasing, so that your community can buy into that. They're literally investing in you. That's what's really unique about NFTs. If there was an NFT of me, in 2007, that NFT would be worth a lot, because I've been able to, have the people who've invested time into me. I've been able to work to invest that time back in value to other people. And this is very unique in the sense that, you can invest in an Amazon or an Apple, but you can't really invest in like a person or an idea or a thing until now.
Right.
So that's really what you're able to do. If I believe that this guy is the next Drake, the next Kanye West, I can invest in his NFTs in that first album, and we have that connection. Now I have that connection to that person. I was there when it started, and you have this digital thing that certifies that. I think it'll be really huge in the art industry as well, photography as well. I think photography, giving photographers the opportunity to really take advantage of the fact that they're capturing some of the most beautiful moments, and I think the technology associated with that as well will be something interesting on the back end that we're also cooking up.
So on an investment level, because I'm assuming that people put money in this first of all, it's maybe to support the person, right? But I would imagine that the bigger money is probably on an investment side, right? So you're basically not unlike a stock or anything else. You're actually buying an NFT with somebody's first album or whatever, because you believe that this person is going to go to another level sometime in the future, and you will be able to capitalize on that as well.
Right, and it's like when you invest in a company, like when I buy an option for Amazon, like I'm not really doing anything. I'm buying it and kind of sitting at home. When you have access to the resources to kind of provide that investment with a boost, and that's really where it's unlocked. And even if it's a matter of, if you're interested in investing in Lazy Moose or any NFT project, and you're kind of unsure about volatility of the space, first of all, you should really dive in. I think really just diving in and accepting the fact that it's crazy. People who didn't adopt the internet, not looking too good right now.
Right.
Right. But I think secondly, there are ways to help people that aren't financial. Publicizing to your network that, hey, I got this kid. He runs a 4.2. He's the best, linebacker in, some random play in Wadsworth, Ohio or something like that. Give this kid a chance. Maybe it's not that money, but maybe it's providing the resources in the community for that individual to grow. Because I think finding people who come along, if you're doing the work, someone's going to notice. I told my dad recently, my dad is also involved in a project, and I told him, you fake it until you make it, right? But if you don't make it, then it doesn't matter. And I think for everybody around you, that's also true. People are going to feed into you what they see you giving out. So I think that whether it be monetary or, this is my favorite part about it, socially, helping people network. A lot of people don't have access to a broad enough network to really see their ideas grow. So.
It really reminds me, I'm fascinated with Billie Eilish, by the way. I think that, what her and her brother have done is outstanding. I don't know if you're a fan of Billie Eilish or not, but
Billie Eilish is cool.
Yeah, it's just crazy that her and her brother could record that music in her bedroom over a period of a couple years, and launch it without any help from any record company or whatever, and turn into one of the world's most popular stars in such a short period of time is absolutely astounding when you really think about it, right? But it's talent, right? And so this is kind of one of these spaces, right? I mean, somebody like their mom believed in them and could and that could have been turned into some type of NFT that then, because or are the people in her community that believed in those two, that could turn into something spectacular.
Exactly.
And so, I find that very, very fascinating. It really takes away the power of a couple of individuals to determine what music you and I are going to listen to, what movies we're going to listen to, what photographs we're going to look at online, or whatever it is, right? it actually puts more and more power back to the individuals across our world. So it's very interesting.
Thank you.
And the fact that you can invest in that is interesting too.
Exactly,
so, all right. So how do we find out more about you?
I was gonna say, follow me on my social media accounts at WiseMoses23. That's my name in English. So Musa Hakeem translates to Wise Moses.
Okay.
Lofty expectations there, and look out for through my social media. You can find the Lazy Moose _NFTs. All of our social media accounts, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, are all Lazy Moose NFTs. And through those channels, you can find access to information, whether it be my personal thoughts on a lot of the areas we're going to be going into, the Lazy Moose project as we build, and also access to our Discord. That'll be one of our biggest tools, as well as Twitter Spaces.
Okay.
So eventually, we'll be holding Twitter Spaces where people can get information based on a project centered around that as well.
I look forward to our next conversation.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right.
Take
care. Have a great CES.
TPN CES 2022 coverage is executive produced by Michelle Mendez. Technical directors are Kurt Corliss and Adam Barker. Associate producers are Nancy Ertz and Maurice McCoy. Interviews are edited by Joe Minnie. Hosts are Marlo Anderson, Todd Cochran, Scott Ertz, Christopher Jordan, Danielle Mendez, and Alante Sparks. Las Vegas studio provided by HC Productions. Remote studio provided by PLUGHITZ Productions. This has been a Tech Podcast Network production. Copyright 2022.